when I look at your background, Spencer, like you could easily, not be where you are right now, and yet you are here. And I'm just wondering how you went from this kid, who couldn't really pay attention at school, parents were divorced, had financial struggles, you're bouncing all around to different places, and you can actually sit here today, with an incredible business, an incredible podcast, and all this amazing success around you. If your teachers had told you the least likely to succeed, I feel like you would have been up there in your grade. And I feel like if you ever went back to your reunion of your high school or whatever, you'd be looking around at a bunch of people and they'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe he made it. When I read your backstory, I get that. Am I off there?
I think when other people see you and interpret what happened, I think they see it differently to how you do. I mean, Mum and Dad getting divorced when I was 7, is that highly unusual? Probably not.
Same with me, by the way.
There you go. Dad going bankrupt, I see that as his badge of honor because he lost his business and he started and built again. I had a mum that worked really hard, even though she had the kids to bring up. She had 2 jobs, and by osmosis, I was learning about that. But I couldn't get the school thing, and I was bullied quite a lot because I wasn't very intelligent, or appeared to be very intelligent at school. And so I didn't really fit in at school. I didn't know if I was a loner or not. I seemed to try and use humor to get myself out of trouble as much as I could. But I don't, and I think everyone needs to have this moment where they realize what they're fit for. And I think when I got into sales, I realized that I belonged somewhere. Before then, I didn't belong anywhere. But I don't really think my childhood was, because I've worked with kids that have been through awful situations. And so I see mine as being, average, normal, didn't do very well, kind of fumbled my way through things. And then I found this thing called selling. And it was like, what do you mean? I don't get a salary and I can earn as much as I want. But so if I work harder than him, I can earn more than him. Yeah, wait, really? I was like, well, hold on a minute. And I remember going into this first office I ever went into, and there was a whiteboard, and it had £20,000 was written on this whiteboard next to this guy's name called David Thornton. And I looked at it, I went, is that how much money he's earned this year? And they looked at me and they went, this week. And I was like, you're joking. He's earned that much money this week. And I was like, if someone could earn that kind of money, imagine what...
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.
If I could just earn a fraction of that. And so it was just I found where I needed to be. And then my career took off because I knew I could be in control of it. I knew I didn't need to have a degree to be good. I knew that the lessons I was taking and what I was learning directly translated to money. And when you're young, you want money. And it's for a car, for a suit, for a watch, whatever it may be. But when you're young, you want the money for those things. And so if I work harder, I can get a better watch. I like that. If I work harder, I can buy a fancier. Oh, I like that. I can go on a nicer holiday. I definitely like that. And so that became the reason to want to learn and be good at something. So when I look at my childhood, my sister's got Asperger's, my mum and dad got divorced, my parents had no money, but my mum loved me to bits. She still is my #1 fan to this very day. She's so proud of me, my mum, and won't have a bad word said about me by anyone. And constantly telling people, you're watching Spencer's podcast. The pensioners in Cyprus, where she retired to, they've all got my podcast on. So when you've got a woman behind you like that went out and demonstrated with actions that you can get somewhere if you work hard and believed in you no matter what, that I think that it's hard not to, unless you really are lazy, to become something. And when I also look at it, Brian, you talk about these things that I find quite alien. You say success and the huge success you had, and it's like, I don't see that. I see myself as a failure.
Still?
Yeah, big time.
Explain that.
I don't see myself as successful at all.
Explain that, Spencer.
How do you measure success?
I don't know.
How should I measure success? And what? Because I made money and I made quite a bit of money and what? That no. That's not success. And if I'm ever going to be measured by that, I'll never win. Go and spend a weekend in Monaco. You'll never be the richest guy in town. So what's success from a monetary point of view? I don't know. I look at your podcast and I think you've got amazingly successful podcasts. I watched it for years, and when you invited me to your studio a few months ago, whatever it was, I couldn't believe you'd invited, come and see my studio. I'm like, whoa, to me, you were like pinnacle stuff, And now I've got to know you, you're just a really nice human being. And so, he's normal, I had you on a pedestal, but you're just a really nice guy that's worked really hard to achieve something. What do we measure success with? And Maria Conceição, who I work with the children from Bangladesh, she saved 680 children from the slums of Bangladesh. That's success to me. So I think we a lot of the time we measure people's success by the fact they live in a big house, they've got the chairman or the CEO of a business, they've done a few IPOs, and they've got $100 million in the bank. And I say that's rubbish. If you want to measure me by that, I'll never be the winner. Okay, there'll always be people doing better. Okay, but have I been able to go and create a documentary from my podcast that has enabled me to highlight the stories of these children that have been through these horrible situations and showcase heroes that have done real work, real world life-changing work, then yes, okay, I've had some success. And so what do I want written on my gravestone? Between 1970, the year I was born, and whatever year I die, that dash, what is it going to represent? He made a load of money. Oh, great. So what?
So what will it say?
He made a difference.
A difference.
He made a difference. He went out, and who knows, because I'm 55 years old next month, I've got another 35 years. I've still got decades ahead of me to make even more of a difference, or do even more things, or pivot and go into another direction. But success definitely isn't money, okay? I want to be known by you as a guy that did everything I could to try and help you get somewhere that you wanted to go and be remembered for the difference I made to you. Or I want to be remembered by you as a guy that was really kind to you. That's what I want to be remembered for. I don't want anyone to say he's all right. I want people to say I don't like him or I think he's fantastic. Because if they think I'm fantastic, they're my kind of people. I'm not foolish enough to think that everyone's going to like me. But those percentage of people that do say, you know what, he's a really good guy. He did this for me.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.